Welcome one, welcome all to Week 8 SFL action, where we bring you the 5-2 Minnesota Legend, or the 4-2 Minnesota Legend, and the 0-5 Oklahoma City Renegades. I am DJ Kilgannon on your play-by-play tonight. With me in the booth, I have Charles Doherty. In the stats truck tonight, we have Mark Mello and Ron Haynes, and of course, Cameron Irvine back at SFL HQ. Charles, what are you thinking about tonight's matchup?
Well, I'm going to be brutally honest, my friend. This is going to be a tough one for OKC at home. Haven't won a game. I think that you've got, some smart people on that team doing the coaching. I think we may see a couple wrinkles we haven't seen so far this season. I'm excited to see what they put on the field, but they're going to have to play flawless. They're going to have to put some stuff on the field that Minnesota hasn't scouted for, and I'm just going to buckle up and enjoy the battle.
Yeah, I think you're right, Charles. It's really going to be a tough one for Oklahoma City if they're going to want to hang into this one. You know, they've had a really rough go of it this season, and Minnesota Legend, they're no shabby opponent, to say the least. As the kickoff, and we are underway, folks. Going to the back of the end zone, he's going to take a knee here. And let's introduce you to the offense of the Oklahoma City Renegades. Leading the charge at quarterback, they have Colin Pierce. Their backs, Jacob Brewer and Frank Udon. And Tiberius Bovine at the fullback. Wide receivers, Christian Bacigalupi and Dallas Sanders. And at the tight end spots, you got Jonathan Kilgore and Stephen McMichaels. Colin Pierce under center here. Drops back. Little pressure. Pump fakes once. Gets the throw off to the receiver on the left-hand side before he gets leveled. It's going to be number 89, Stephen McMichaels, with a great catch.
He's one of the better tight ends in the league, and I think it was smart. They were showing zone coverage on defense. They did a little flood at the bottom of the screen. Colin Pierce had plenty of time to go through the progressions and found McMichaels open on the sideline.
You got a bunch right look here with one wide receiver way to the left, got one back in the backfield. Colin Pierce under center is going to drop back. Oh, and that's deflected by the Minnesota Legend, Matthew Alvarado, who has been a beast all season long. Gets a hand on that one.
Let's be completely honest here. The Renegade offense is going up against a stout defense in the Minnesota Legend. I think it's smart mixing the plays up, and I think doing those short dropbacks, I think, might be the cure for Colin Pierce.
Absolutely. Going to go to the same look once more. Colin Pierce going to take the snap. Got a four-man front here for Minnesota. Going to drop back, rolling out to the left. Going to take off, it looks like, and getting stopped shortly. Oh, no, he may be down.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, what an awful start. Oh, that's about as bad as it gets for Oklahoma City right now.
Oh, definitely. Oh my
goodness.
Hopefully it's only for a play or two, but, man, that is for an already, light squad on offense, having your number one QB go down is probably a worst-case scenario.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking if you're in the stands watching. But they have a backup, Gordon Hamden, going to come off of the bench tonight. Hasn't seen much action here, but tonight he's going to have to showcase some. Going back to that same look. Under center's going to roll out to his right. Not a lot of hold pressure. Going to throw deep and find a man, but he drops it. The huge hit by Derek Meerkat to cause the incompletion.
Look, the fullback Bovine went on a deep route there, and Bovine is no stranger to deep passes. I mean, he played tight end. He's a beast, and that's the type of play he's gonna, kick himself on the sidelines because it hit both his paws, and he should be bringing that in.
Absolutely, I agree with you there. He's really solid in the receiving game as well as the run game, and they're gonna force him to punt here. Not a great start. For Oklahoma City, especially with your quarterback going down. While we have a chance, let's go ahead and introduce you to the Minnesota offense. Leading the charge, we have Johnny Reno. Your halfbacks, we got Isaac Knox, Colin Hart. Fullback, we got Robert Henson Jr. Your wide receivers, Queg Mam, Deezer Powell, Jay Taylor, and E.J. Minson. Your tight end, Jason Francis, and we will get to the line shortly as Johnny Reno is under center. Two to his left, one to his right, and you got a back in the back. Three up front for OKC. He's going to hand it off right up the middle. Going to spin away from a man. Gain a 6 before he gets brought down hard by the safety.
I think the key here for the Renegades, just like kind of flip it around, the OKC offense going up against the Legend defense. For this, the OKC defense is, I think they're going to have to be aggressive. I think they're going to have to show some things that Reno hasn't seen all season.
Absolutely. They're going to go with the draw play right up the middle, but no luck as Jad McPherson puts a stop to it. And your offensive linemen here on the front for the Legend, you got Brookie Burr and Axel Raven at your tackles, Carly Forge and Griffin King at your guards, and Ruthie Raven snapping the ball to Johnny Reno. Now 3 to the right here and a bunch of looks. Going to roll out to his left, the halfback laying a block. He's going to get it right away. Right before the pressure got there, but stopped and knocked down by number 25, Farrell Raines, for the defense.
Yeah, they had 3 down linemen, put some heat on, and put an extra blitzer in there. And Raines was standing back there just playing center field. Again, he's not again, but he's kicking himself because that ball was, should have been intercepted. I know they're getting the punt back, but man, if he got that ball, he would have had nothing but daylight to the end zone.
Yeah, definitely would have been a huge help for your wounded offense right now. And let's go ahead and introduce you to this Minnesota Legend defense. Your defensive front, you got Angela Meerkat, Mark Mello, Chloe Meerkat, and Max Knight. Linebackers, you have Matthew Alvarado, Stephen Black, Jason Clay, and Stephon Forge. And all of your defensive backs, you have David Leathers, Nicholas Frossel, Johnny Bravo, Slyn Shady, Jubilee Marsh, and Derek Meerkat. Mickey Malillo is the leg for them. Not Colin Pierce, Gordon Hamden going to go under center, going to drop back. Oh, and find a man on the right side, but it's going to get bopped up in the air and fall down for an incompletion.
I think that was a horrible pass there by Hamden. I think just Leathers at the last second put his mitt in there and disrupted the pass as it was about ready to hit the wide receiver.
Yeah, I got to find somebody. Unfortunately for them, just didn't work out in that case. Now here we go again. Gordon Hamden going to go under center. He got a back in the backfield and one receiver on each side of him. They got a man going in motion. That's Tiberius Bovine, the Hall of Famer, going to go to his left. The man follows him across. He's going to drop back, find a man over the middle, and it is Tiberius Bovine getting a gain of 6.
Yeah, moving that fullback, that Hall of Fame fullback, like you said, all over the field. He's a reliable wide receiver. 2 things I liked about that: it was a good pre-snap adjustment, but also that I love that quick drop back by Hamden.
Hamden again under center, going with a lot of under center tonight. Going to roll to his right. Got the back blocking for him. He's going to find a man over the middle, but it's hit out by number 21, David Leathers. And
no way.
My goodness.
Oh, my gosh. When it rains, it pours, my friend.
Yeah, they might have that. Wow, they might just have a curse right now. Oklahoma City, that is rough. If you're Oklahoma City, my goodness. Minnesota just came to bring pain tonight, it seems.
You got your star quarterback, your star tight end. I mean, that's not good at all. I hope both of them come back because they're going to need them.
Yeah, absolutely. That's huge, 2 huge losses for them, and you hate to see anyone go down, but when it's in a situation like this on your first 2 drives, it's just really heartbreaking. Now you got the defense for the Renegades here tonight. Your sole contracted defensive lineman, Shin Yoneda. Linebackers, you have Jad McPherson and Sabo Kanan, Aaron Gooden. Then at your defensive backs, you have Farrell Raines, Thomas Rahman Jr., Brady Clark, and Josh Vasquez filling up the defensive back core. Going back to this bunch look we've seen a lot tonight is Johnny Reno under center. Got a back in the backfield. Going to hand it off right up the middle. Going to fight for a few extra yards. He's going to break through after a gain of 7 is finally brought down. I mean, that was just a really tough run there.
Yeah, I've had a problem, I think, with the Renegades is if you're going up against the 5 stout offensive linemen in the Legend, that 3. I know they have to go 3 down linemen most of the time based on their personnel, but just the power the Legend brings on that block is going to be a problem.
Yes, not many defensive linemen versus a full offensive line. It's really going to be a struggle for them to bring some pressure. But right now, not doing a horrible job as Isaac Knox takes ones up the middle, getting him the gain of a first down. He had a very solid season last year and is continuing a pretty solid campaign this year as Johnny Reno takes another one under center, got 2 to his right, got the tight end in motion there. We go to the other side of the field. That's Jason France. Johnny Reno still has a man in the backfield. Going to drop back a few steps and find the man on the left side of the field. That's Jay Taylor, who gets brought down right after he makes the catch.
Good read by Reno and good route running as well by Taylor. and it looked like the safety reacted just a little bit too late. Brady Clark, I saw it coming, but the reaction time was just a second off.
Yeah, you had mentioned that zone defense earlier, Charles. Kind of seems like they're going back to it, and Minnesota's doing a really good job of picking it apart. Johnny Reno comes back out in that bunch look we've seen so much. He's going to roll out to his right and find the man over the middle. A great one-handed catch there by E.J. Minson. And also to point out, a great block by the halfback in the backfield there, saving Johnny Reno from a sack.
Yeah, definitely. Aaron Gooden had a beeline on the quarterback there, and that last-second block, I think, is what saved him. But it was enough to disrupt the pass. But when you've got Minson back there, showing off with the one-handers, it's hard to cover.
Yeah, as they say, toss it up, and they're out there somewhere. And in the face of that sort of pressure, definitely did just that. Now Johnny Reno again going to be under center. Looks like they're bringing an extra man. He's going to drop back and look over the middle of the field. It's Deezer Powell for the touchdown.
Yeah, just too much. I mean, they the wide receivers they've got 4 solid wide receivers and a solid tight end. It's hard to go up against an undermanned defense, and they just showed it on this drive. It was just a couple plays where the Renegades were able to be creative and disrupt a little bit, but man, it's just too much. I mean, Reno's just right now is just pitch and catch.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly right. And for the former MVP, it's going to take a lot more than a undermanned defense. And of course, nothing really Oklahoma City can do about that aspect, Charles. But it's tough regardless.
I do like what they're doing. They're trying to be as creative as they can. They're mixing up their looks on defense.
Yeah.
I would always say, especially when you're undermanned like that, you might want to be a little bit more aggressive.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think a little bit tweaking there, we might see a little different story. But again, I think the bottom line, what we're going to be seeing all night tonight is the legend they're stacked at every position.
Yeah, absolutely. You said it best, kind of switching things up. We saw plenty of stunts on that last drive, bringing an extra man, and whether he did blitz or whether he dropped back in coverage, we saw a lot of it. And, not to mention, we saw the motion with Tiberius Bovine. We saw a few more motions. If you're going to beat a team that's, on paper better than you, you're going to have to throw some tricks at them. And let's see what they can cook up on this drive as not Colin Pierce. Gordon Hamden's going to go under center with 3 to his right, back in that bunch look with a man in the backfield. He's going to take a few steps back. He's going to find a man, but it's going to get batted down by the defensive lineman there. Angela Meerkat makes a big play.
Angela Meerkat, I mean, I've done a couple games with the legend this season, and it seems like every game I do, Angela Meerkat shows up. I mean, she makes her presence known on the field and is just a play disruptor generally.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the key pieces to this, defensive front for them. And Hamden again going to go under center with a man in the backfield, going to take a few steps back. Decent blocking there, going to look for a man on the right side of the field, but nothing going as Derek Meerkat, another Meerkat, makes the big play there, slapping it down.
I'm looking to see, I thought I saw McMichael's back out there. I could be wrong. Let's look for that.
That would be great for them. And, we're seeing this bunch look a lot from both sides, and Oklahoma City going with it again. Hamden under center now. He's going to roll out to his right. Udon with a great block. He's going to look down the field, and it's intercepted. Oh, David Leathers with a great pick. He takes it back a few yards before meeting a sea of red jerseys as he is brought down.
It was just the only way you can describe that, it's a poor pass. I mean, maybe the wide receiver, Udon, I think, might have done the wrong route, but it just threw it right into the wrong spot, and there was a defender waiting.
Yeah, it was tough because Udon is the one. He rolled out with him, made the great block, and it looked like he tried to throw it to him off the block, but it didn't work out. Reno going to be under center again. He's going to drop back, looking for a man over the field again. It's Deezer Powell. A huge gain right off the interception to get them a first down right out of the gate.
Reno was playing very crisp tonight. He just takes 2 steps back and just knows where he's going to go and just fires a laser beam to the wide receiver.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's only been, half of a quarter, but you can kind of tell when someone's on their game, and this is certainly the Johnny Reno of last season. Not to say he hasn't been great all season, but this is that MVP we're seeing. He's going to drop back and fire over the middle of the field. My goodness, what a catch by Jay Taylor. And I know it's early, Charles, but that's got to be our Retroid Nice Hands catch of the game. Wow, what a catch. Put a Retroid handheld in your hands and play the only video game with your player in it.
And had a shot at it. I think he just turned his body the wrong way. And a very athletic catch there by Taylor.
Wow, what a catch again. My goodness. Reno under center inside the 5. Got a man in his backfield here. Let's see if we see a handoff to him. Going to call a motion coming from the left to the right. Going to have 3 receivers on the right side of the field now. That's Quagmam, excuse me, in motion. Going to let the clock run a little bit before Johnny Reno hikes it. He's going to drop back and find a man in the middle of the field. E.J. Minson makes the catch in the end zone. Touchdown, Legend.
That was right into the mosh pit. I thought it was an ill-advised pass, but man, what an accurate pass. There's 3 defenders around, and I mean, that's just eye-opening. It just shows you how what a great job Reno's doing tonight. He's on fire. He's on another level.
Yeah, it's just so many good aspects to that play, Charles. The great blocking, great throw exactly where it needed to be, and just such a great concentrated catch there by E.J. Minson in a sea of renegades. Like you said, the mosh pit was a great way to put it. And right off that play is just a 3-play, 37-yard drive to get them into the end zone. And you know, it's only the first quarter, but Legend going to go up to a 2-score lead now. And you know, you said it from the jump. It was going to be hard if Oklahoma City was going to do it. They were going to have to play flawless, and so far they're definitely not.
And it doesn't help when 2 of your star players are with the school nurse.
Yeah, getting checked out in the tent. And, you know, it's going to be rough, but we've seen crazier things happen in this league, Charles. And Oklahoma City, they have a lot of fight in them. This team is not going to go down easy by any means, but it's going to be tough. Now, here we have, definitely not. And Gordon Hamden, again, going to be under center in this familiar bunch look. But now they're going to motion one across the field. That's Jonathan Kilgore, who's been cooking it up in the minors, making his way to the other side of the field. And I'm going to survey the defense, hike it, take a few steps back, and find a man over the middle, but just too much traffic, unable to haul it in.
Yeah, that's the type of catch in this type of game. Anytime you're hit, you know, in the jersey in the hands, you got to bring it in. You got to help that quarterback, especially someone coming off the bench cold. You got to do something to get some momentum going.
Yeah, absolutely. And going back to this bunch look, and it seems like Minnesota is used to it, loading that bunch side with 3 corners to match. As Hamden's going to drop back, a lot of pressure, and he is brought down by big Max Knight, 6'5", 350, to make the sack.
Yeah, Max Knight's 3rd sack of the season, and you know, if I were the Legend, I'd just be bringing the heat every play. I mean, that sounds cruel, but I mean,
yeah, it does. But
you know, you got a clear advantage there. Just send the Wolves in.
If you have an advantage, we're out here. It's competitive. You know, even if some injuries happen, you got to play at your fullest. And with a not contracted offensive line, bringing the pressure, I definitely think is the best option. Hamden's going to drop back, find a man over the middle, and it's incomplete again. Another great look, and just unable to haul it in.
Yeah, they're not helping their quarterback at all. I mean, they gotta, I hate to say it, they got to do something to help their quarterback out. That means, you know, extra tough blocking, catching balls that hit you in the jersey.
Yeah, here comes Fiegels again. He's definitely getting his money's worth, and I would say that, but he's not contracted, so really just out there for the fun of it. And he's going to boot it away back to the Legend. And Minnesota, let's see what they can do on this next drive. They've been, full throttle so far, and if you're
the Johnny Reno show, my friend,
the Johnny Reno show. There's no better way to put it, Charles. And I think we're going to see more of it. They're just high-powered right now. And Reno again under center, 2 to his right. Going to drop back. He's going to find one over the left side of the field. Again, it's Jay Taylor in that area of the field, hauling it in.
I'm telling you, if I was a quarterback in this league and I looked at the 4 wide receivers and tight end that Minnesota Legend have, I mean, that's like winning the lottery twice. I mean, they've got, every every player is in the upper 90s from a rating standpoint or 100. They are loaded, man. I mean, it's hard to defend against them.
Yeah, they absolutely are. And it doesn't help when you have such a powerful run game. Colin Hart gets shoved and gets the first down there. Really powerful run there and a really good hit by the defense there. But just
That was a
pushing forward.
touchdown-saving hit.
It absolutely was. Came from the other side of the field to make that touchdown-saving hit, and definitely was a good one. And now, look, we haven't seen tonight. Johnny Reno has two in his backfield. Two to his left, one to his right, as he's going to hand it off to the left side. Unable to break anything free is Isaac Knox. A great play there by Sabo Kanan.
It was, and it was a good read. Got past the blocking scheme, and it was able to do a one-on-one tackle there for a loss.
Yeah, and if you're Oklahoma City, at least shut down the run game. It's something you can kind of control in a little bit more sense. Reno going to drop back, look for a man over the middle of the field, but great coverage there by Oklahoma City. Here comes a surge of defense from them, breaking that one up.
And they're trying, I see what they're trying to do. I mean, they're trying to be creative on the stunts, trying to be creative on the coverage packages, trying to do everything they can. And on that one, I think the stunt that they ran, that pinch look, kind of threw off the offensive line. They were able to get a little bit pressure on.
Yeah, they're trying their best, and Reno's going to roll out to the right, try and find a man over the middle, but it's going to hit Josh Vasquez behind the man. And, just Oklahoma City able to hold them off that drive, but, I think it's going to definitely be close enough for Big Mickey Malillo to nail the field goal. Certainly, it looks like. The kick is up. And it swerves back in, making it a 17-point game. And, it's more points on the board, Charles. But if you're Oklahoma City, in my opinion, that's not a horrible end to that drive.
Oh, not at all. I mean, every time you touch the ball, you put points up. How long was that field goal? Was that 40?
Yeah, around. Yeah, in that range, I believe so.
That might be his longest field goal of the season.
Oh, wow, really?
37 coming in.
Oh, very nice. If it is, congratulations to Mr. Malillo. And another good kick there. Juking to the left. Yeah, a little shimmy shake, shake and bake, as I like to say. Gags with a pretty good return there, getting Oklahoma City to the 29. And now, if you're those receivers and tight ends for Oklahoma City, you've got Hamden in. Probably hasn't got too many snaps throughout practice and games, and maybe a little bit of miscommunication, not too much synergy, but going to have to work out regardless. And now here's some motion on the play. That's Jonathan Kilgore coming from his tight end spot to go to the other side of the field. A loaded up line for Minnesota, as Hamden's going to hand it off to the left to Udon, and he's going to get brought down after a gain of 3. And the way he was holding himself there, Charles, I was kind of worried for a second, but gets helped up, and he is okay.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, it's 3 yards. It's a positive gain. It's something to build on.
Yeah, it's definitely a start. Improvement from their last one, as Hamden's going to drop back in pressure. Oh, he's going to throw it to a man, and just nothing there. Tiberius Bovine unable to hold on to it. And, I saw someone point something out in the chat earlier, and it was a great point. They're not able to haul in a lot of these catches, but on most of these catches, there's 2 or 3 bodies hitting them when it gets there. Definitely hospital balls indeed, but regardless, unable to haul it in. Go back to this bunch look as Hamden. He's going to roll to his right and get sacked by the legend. Big number 90, Angela Meerkat again, making a huge play, crushing the souls of the Renegades.
It definitely a 3rd sack of the season, making an impact out there. Just didn't have an answer. I've tried to block, looked like a tight end was trying to block her, and that just doesn't work.
Yeah, absolutely not. And you look at the offensive line, we've said it before, no contracted guys. The next best thing is either a generic or one of your tight ends, and one of those tight ends is going to have a really hard time covering the likes of, Angela Meerkat, but any of these defensive linemen for Minnesota, really.
I hate to say it, but we've got 1 minute left in the quarter, and it honestly feels like it's been a halftime. I was looking up, and I thought there was 1 minute left in the half. Minnesota is just controlling this game, and controlling the clock, and Oklahoma City doesn't have an answer so far.
Yeah, they don't. And now here comes Johnny Reno in an empty look. Going to motion a man across the field. Jason France going to go to his right side. Johnny Reno surveying the defense. Going to get the hike, take a few steps back. He's going to take a few more and go over the middle of the field. Incomplete. Jay Taylor unable to hold on to that one.
Yeah, I like what Oklahoma City did on that play. They overloaded the left side of the line and didn't have an answer for it. And not Colin Pierce, excuse me. Johnny Reno had to rush that one, and it wound up as an interception. Not interception, as incomplete.
Yeah, and here we go, another empty look, and it's not going to work this time as they get a big sack. It's Jad McPherson. And if you're not able to have too many defensive linemen, how else can you help by sending your inside linebacker who makes a huge play for you?
Definitely, and they also did kind of like a fan stunt to the outside exactly, too, to bring that pocket up too high, unable to protect the quarterback, allowing the linebacker a path to the quarterback in a sack.
Yeah, great analysis there. Oh, and that one was close. Going to roll out to his right, but throw it back across the field. That one kind of threw us for a loop. Quick man was able to hold on to that one after the big hit.
Yeah, that was another instance of a last-second block, and a very good block at that to save your quarterback. Even though we're looking at fourth down, but man, could have been worse. He could have been sitting on the bench with Colin Pierce with the nurse.
Yeah, they could have been sharing beds in the tent together. But fortunately,
I'm going to leave that one alone for late night SFL. We're going to move along. Moving along.
Unfortunately for Oklahoma City, unable to bring him down, but they get the ball back. And, after a pretty rough start, that's a pretty good defensive hold, to end the first quarter pretty much.
They mixed it up. I mean, they've been showing some creativity like you have to do when you're in that situation. And, a tip of the cap to the coaching squad of Oklahoma City.
Yeah, absolutely. It's part of that, mixing it up we've talked about so much. And here comes Hamden again, going to take the snap, take a few steps. He is pile-drived into the ground by number 21, Jubilee Marsh, with the huge sack from his safety spot.
I mean, that's just mean.
Gosh, it is.
Sending in a safety blitz from the outside. Oh. And that is hard to do. I mean, you have a lot of ground you got to cover on that. To be able to get that type of closing speed on the quarterback is very impressive for Jubilee Marsh.
Very difficult indeed. Now we're going to end the first quarter. We'll be back. Welcome back to the Simulation Football League, brought to you by VFN. And here we go. We have Gordon Hamden again under center in this very familiar bunch look. He's going to take a few steps back. He's going to fire over the middle of the field to who else but Tiberius Bovine, who's finally going to haul one in for Hamden here. A great one-handed catch in traffic.
That was definitely great. And he's covered by a cornerback too, and he's out there running around like he's a wide receiver.
Yeah, he absolutely is. Doesn't look like your traditional fullback, and I guess that's why he's in the Hall of Fame. And you got Hamden under center again, got a loaded left side. He's going to hand it off up the middle. Looks like that one was to Udon and just stopped right before the line to gain. And that just hurts if you're Oklahoma City.
It definitely does. And they got to give the ball back to Minnesota. I mean, but they stopped them last time. Let's see if they can use that creative play calling and scheme to get the ball back to the offense.
Yeah, and it's 4th and 1, but I think that one's just a little too close for comfort. I mean, basically right at your own 20. Wise decision to go ahead and punt it back, and now your defense is going to be back onto the field and just going to have to keep up that same mentality of trying to trick the legend the best you can and throw off Johnny Reno's momentum, because he's been a showstopper. And speaking of the man himself, he's going to have an empty backfield now with 4 receivers in total. There's Queg Mann motioning to the left side of the field to meet in the middle of those 2 receivers as Reno's going to survey the defense, letting the clock run low as he's going to step back and try and target a receiver over the middle. That was E.J. Minson, and kind of just like it went right by him, maybe a little bit, overled.
It did a pre-snap adjustment in that zone coverage. I thought it was pretty smart. It looked like they were going to flood it at the bottom of the screen. They sent 2 of their wide receivers in the middle, and the defense for the Renegades was looking forward. looking for that to happen, and there was a wide receiver or two open at the bottom of the screen. It was one of the, one of few bad decisions I think by Reno tonight.
Yeah, very few indeed, and just another tough run there. Colin Hart, who has been tremendous, is gonna fight, and there he goes, cheering up the crowd, and that's just mean. In Oklahoma City, gonna cheer up to the crowd, but I mean, it's football. You got to do what you got to do. It's a competitive sport.
Yeah, a nightmare situation for Oklahoma City is, they've had the legend has had their passing game humming. They get that running game humming too. It's going to be a bad night.
Absolutely. And speaking of the passing game, Johnny Reno gonna find Jay Taylor again over the middle, in between the zones, and my goodness, Reno is on fire.
Yeah, and Reno's on fire. Taylor's on fire. I mean, he's knocking the door at 100 yards here in this first half.
Yeah, something special we're watching now. He's the last season's MVP for a reason. Now here we go. A little bit of an eye for him here. Is Johnny Reno going to take the snap, hand it off to the left? A little bit of room to run. He's going to break free of one, and my goodness, a play that could have been, a gain of 1 or 2 if that tackle could have stood, but Colin Hart not going to let that happen. He's going to fight for more, getting a gain of 9.
Yeah, he's 5'10", extremely strong. So when you get, it's hard to bring him down on that first hit. He'll carry you a couple yards, and we saw it on that play.
Yeah, I mean, you said it there, 5'10". He's the shortest player on the roster, right? I mean, he's not a very big guy, but he is going to hit you, and he's going to hit you hard, as Reno's going to hand it off to the other side. Isaac Knox is going to try and fight for the first down, but ain't able to, making it 3rd and inches.
That was another big stop there by Kanan. I mean, he's had a couple good tackles tonight.
Yeah, certainly has. And definitely a bright spot in this Oklahoma City defense, and now here we go. Reno going to be the lone man in the backfield. Let's see if we see some motion here. We do. Going to motion from the left to the right side is Jason France. Now Reno going to survey the defense one more. Let's see the adjustments come from Oklahoma City, and he's going to sneak it, and he gets the first down. Great play call there from Reno, and the offensive coordinator on the side. Wow, I wasn't expecting that.
No, I wasn't either, and a very smart play. Caught everybody by surprise.
Yeah, we've seen that, formation and same motion a few times, and it hasn't been that sneak. Very good play calling. Now again, speaking of motion, here comes Deezer Powell, motioning to the left side, making it 3 on that side with a back in the backfield. Reno's going to snap it, hand it off right up the middle to Colin Hart, and he is met by a wall of Renegades, led by Aaron Gooden to make that stop.
I think they were thinking about doing an outside run, but the defensive end, Yonita, was in a stand-up position in 2-point and was just waiting for him, saying, please run it my way.
Yeah, they were. And here comes that 4-man look again. Reno going to drop back and get hammered as he throws, but it doesn't matter. Going to find Jay Taylor, who scoops it off the ground to make the great catch.
That's got to be frustrating. You saw the hustle there by the Oklahoma City defense, and Reno was just able to withhold the pressure and just withstand the pressure, and deliver a pass to the wide receiver here, looking at 3rd and 1.
And here we go, a handoff to the left side. Colin Hart going to fight for yards, not many, but plenty enough for the first down, giving them 3 more tries to gain 5 yards. And with the context of this game, I'm sure they'll be able to.
Yeah, this is going to be tough for Oklahoma City.
Yeah, it is. Going to have 2 in the backfield with 2 to the right, 1 to the left. Reno going to survey the defense. He's going to motion and swing that fullback over to the left-hand side. You see the stunt there coming from the linebacker. Reno going to hand it off to the right. He's going to swing to the left, and he's just going to meet a wall. That is Sabo Kanan, and get tackled right at the 5. That's a good start.
That's a good start, and also I think that's his best play of the night. He's made a couple. I've called his name a couple times. Yeah. That one right there stands out.
Yeah, and it was a pretty heavy run look, and we saw the stun on the other side, and it worked really well. And here we go with another 4-man look. Reno's going to drop back, a little bit of pressure coming from his right side. He's going to scramble to the left, but he gets chased down by number 90 of the defense. And that one was looking dangerous for a second, but they stop him right before he gets in.
Defensive tackle, Saylor, chased him down, 650, 295. That was definitely a foot race.
And here we go. Reno just needs 2 more yards. Got 1 try to do it. He's going to motion his receiver, Jay Taylor, from the far left to the right side. You have a man in the backfield, a 4-man front for Oklahoma City. Reno's going to hand it off, and he's stopped.
He stopped him.
Oh, Kanan again.
Man.
Oh, my goodness. Talk about big plays. Just a Mack truck meeting a brick wall. Colin Hart meets Sabo Kanan full force.
I mean, they're probably going to walk away with 3 here, but man, that's I think that's, you know, on some level that's a win for the defense for Oklahoma City. That Kanan just put everything on the field, just keeping them out of the end zone.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, we said it about the drive earlier where they got the other field goal, and it seems like a loss, letting them get points, but they were inside the 5-yard line, Charles, and they were able to stop them.
Great stand.
Now, while we have some time, the 2025 SFL convention kicks off the league's 25th anniversary season, July 10th to the 14th. Join SFL Nation at the rooftop pool of our host hotel, the Hyatt Regency, looking out into Baltimore's beautiful Inner Harbor. You can reserve your room now at the special group rate at simfl.net. Now we're going to see this Oklahoma City offense led by Mr. Hamden again step onto the field. Now let's see what they can cook up. They have a heavy right side of the line and not many legend over there. They have a single man in the backfield. Let's see what they can do with him. He's going to drop back, plenty of blocks, and he's going to find the left-hand side. And, goodness. And we've talked a lot about those hospital balls, Charles, but that one to me is unforgivable.
Yeah, I mean, it was right in the bread box. You have to hold on to that one. Got to help your quarterback out.
I don't know if you've seen much volleyball, but it looked like a setter in volleyball there, setting up for a spike. But nonetheless, going to go back to that heavy set look to the right side. Hamden's going to drop back, fire one to the right, and this time it's brought in, spins away, past him, and he's running down the right-hand side. Oh my goodness, it's Christian Bachagalupi with a huge play to fire up Oklahoma City.
It's a way to make up make up on previous indiscretions. I mean, that was a great catch. Ooh. And look at this run after little spin move.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, man, great run after catch.
Golly, Bachagalupi put him in the spin cycle there, Charles. He even dove. And my goodness, that was an electric play. Now let's see if they can just keep it going. Hamden again under center, back to this heavy set to the right side, but we haven't seen it many times with that little motion to the right. Hamden's going to drop back, a lot of pressure on his back, but Jonathan Kilgore is not able to haul it in, batted up in the air after a nice play from Jason Clay.
It looked like Kilgore climbed up the back of the defender to try and catch that one.
Yeah, he did. It was just such a jumbled sea out there, Charles, and unable to haul it in, and didn't expect him to, really. And now here's a heavier look on the line, one out to each side of him. And now here we go again with the motion. It's going to be Tiberius Bovine again moving to the left side. About one man in the backfield. Here goes Hamden surveying the defense. He's going to drop back. A nice block by Udon, but it doesn't matter. Another huge sack by Minnesota. If I'm not mistaken, it was Stephen Black who got there first and made the big play.
Well, let's check here on the replay. It definitely was Black. That's his second and a half sack for the season, and it looked like it was a little bit of delay there on Black's part. Kind of looked like he was going to do some coverage, and then just blasted up that gap and got his second and a half sack.
And it was a great decision as Hamden's going to roll out to his left. He's going to fire back over the right side of the field. But all he's going to find is the back of a legend as it gets brought down. You can see the talking there from Udon and Hamden. He's like, look, man, you know, you haven't been in much. You just got to lock in and try and lead this team, and he's going to have to.
That's unfortunate. I mean, we had the makings of an impressive drive and just kind of stalled out.
And, you see they're at the 35, but, you know, with the uncontracted kicker for Oklahoma City, you just have to punt that one. And a good punt it was. You know, nailing Minnesota down at the 7-yard line. And if you're Oklahoma City, if you're going to make a stop, the time is now.
Definitely deep in their own territory. I think you got to turn up the aggressiveness here.
Absolutely, especially on the defensive side. Hope for another sack as Reno Not going to let it happen easily. Under center with a man in the backfield. He's going to hand it off, and he meets a wall. A great stop there by Aaron Gooden for a tackle for loss.
Yeah, but right at the snap, defensive end who was standing up in 2-point again went to the outside. They may have been thinking about doing off tackle, but it looked like they had to make an adjustment and run up the middle, and they just shut it down for the Oklahoma City side.
It's just that little trickery, and Reno's going to drop back. He's in the end zone now. He has a man going to him, but he's going to scramble and get a gain of 6 after the nice run. He's going to slide down as he steals second base.
And they've got a little bit of a safety net now. That little run helped get them out of the danger zone. So, just they don't want to make a mistake here and give the ball to Oklahoma City and give them a little bit of momentum into the halftime. I think they just need to run this out. They've got the horses to do it.
Absolutely, I agree with you, Charles. A turnover there would have been tragic for Minnesota, but nonetheless, back to the bunch look here is Reno under center. He's going to roll out to his right side looking for a man. He's going to fire it over the middle of the field. And unfortunately not able to haul it in is Aaron Gooden. We were just talking about how crucial a turnover would have been there, Charles.
A lot of drop passes on the offense and the defense of Oklahoma City, and it's a shame. I mean, because we could be looking at some more points on the board. You never know.
Yeah, we could. And here goes Mickey Melillo out there again, booting it from his own end zone. And, if you're Oklahoma City, that's a really good stop, Minnesota didn't have much room to work with, and now you're getting the ball back already on your half of the field.
Yep, and, you can right now I think you got to play for at least 3. I mean, I know they definitely want to get a touchdown out of here, but don't put so much pressure on your quarterback to throw it. Try and see if you can get some success on runs and maybe some short passes to get some yardage.
Here we go with a heavy set left side of the line. He's going to do a draw play, hand it right up the middle to Udon, and he's just going to meet a wall of legend. The charge led by Stephon Forge with the nice tackle.
Yeah, they were waiting for that right up the middle, and, unfortunate, but at least they gave it a shot, trying to run that ball, because they were getting it to look a little predictable on offense.
Yeah, and I mean, they only got 1:20. I'd like to see a little bit more aggression, but we're not going to see it there as another tackle is made just past the sticks. We've got a timeout there. If you're Oklahoma City, what do you think, Charles? You think you just kind of let it run into the half? Or I think you got to play aggressive.
Yeah, I mean, at least to field goal range. I mean,
yeah.
Try and get something out of there.
You got to try your best, and here comes Hamden again with that bunch look to the left-hand side. He's going to drop back, a lot of pressure, and my goodness, he's going to find a man to the left-hand side, and it is just not brought in. That's another drop for this Oklahoma City squad.
Yep, they're dealing with the dropsies tonight, and that's unfortunate because we're looking at 4th and 8, and I think they're out of field goal range, and it's not a good sign giving the ball back to Minnesota. There's 1 minute is plenty of time for that offense.
Yeah, and let's see if they can pin him back deep into the field again. I mean, this was about the same range they were at earlier, and yeah, it's going to be another really solid punt if it goes their way, and it doesn't. It's going to put them at the 20, but like you said, Charles, Minnesota has a minute to go, and if any offense is going to, get into scoring range, Minnesota definitely has a shot.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be content for them to just kind of run it out, but this year we've been seeing a lot of passes in situations like this.
Yeah, and speaking of, Johnny Reno walking over the middle of the field, he's going to find Egypt Minson trails away and is finally brought down by Josh Vasquez. They said, forget the run, Charles. They're going to throw it all the way, and clearly worked there going to the other side of the 50.
I tell you, I say it and the exact opposite happens.
Yeah, all those predictions going wrong. It's just, oh man. And here we go. Reno going to drop back again, looking to throw all the way. He's going to.
Oh, there you go.
But all he finds is a renegade. Sabo Kanan, another huge play for them. Makes the interception this time.
I mean, he's been leading that defense. His 3rd interception of the season, and coming off that great goal line stance.
Wow, and that was a really, really technically sound, defense there. He kind of was motioning towards the left, following one guy, followed the quarterback's eyes, went back to the right, and, read the route perfectly. And was setting his Renegades up to have the ball back and at least, not let Minnesota get any points before half. As Hamden's going to be under center again. He's going to take a few steps back. He's going to fire over the middle and just find a sea of bodies. Going to go, flying over the top of him, incomplete.
I mean, it wasn't. It looked like there were a lot of defenders around, but I hate to say that catch. It might have been catchable.
Yeah, it definitely could have been, and even if it was close, just you got to worry about the guys around you, trying to make sure they don't get it, because in this spot, making that catch and getting an interception compared to making a catch there would be detrimental. And Hamden again going to fire to the right-hand side, going to find Jonathan Kilgore for a nice reception, getting them a gain of 7.
That's his first reception of the night, and it's a nice one. Sets him up at 3rd and 3. I know the time's waning here, but it's good to at least get some motion out there, get some catches, get used to it, and you can bring it out in the second half.
Yeah, he's going to roll out to his left here. Hamden, a lot of pressure from his right side, and throws it there in triple coverage to the fullback, Bovine, and just not able to connect.
Yeah, the defender was, riding him like a bucking bronco.
Yeah, riding him like a steer.
We are in Oklahoma City.
Yeah, and his name is Bovine. It's starting to match up. I don't know. Gonna see another punt, and Minnesota is certainly milking. Oklahoma City for all they're worth.
I see what you did there. Well done, sir.
Thank you. And now, surely Minnesota 2 timeouts to their name, but with only 14 seconds, and with the formation they're in, kind of looks like they're going to run the clock out, talk about it at half, and get back out there and try to finish this one out.
Let's see. They proved me wrong.
We've seen crazier things. Oh, here we go.
Yep.
Going to motion out Robert Henson Jr. to his right side, leaving one man in the backfield, but he does hand it off. Breaking off one tackle is Colin Hart, getting drugged down after a gain of 5, and it looks like these Minnesota Legends are going to have a little bit of mercy and let the time run off to end the second half. And my goodness, Charles, you seem to have spoken into existence. Your calls usually flip around the other way, but you said this one was going to be tough. They'd have to play perfect. Tell me a little bit about it. And you think anything could change here?
Yeah, just to be brutally honest, I think a little more on both the defense and the offense for Oklahoma City. Those opportunities, like when the ball hits them in the hand, they need to hold on to it. And we could be looking at, I'm not going to say that would mean they'd be winning the game, but they'd be put in positions for success. And especially coming into the second half, they're really going to need to capitalize on every opportunity that comes their way.
Absolutely. We saw it flash there, 4 for 19 passing for Hamden. He's the backup. It's not going to be easy. And now, as we see our breakout player, halftime player of the game, we're going to take a look. Let's take a quick halftime break. Going to be presented to you by Breaks GPT.
We just pulled a full-size Taylor Swift helmet. Shout out to all our Swifties. Travis Kelce. This is a Giants Lawrence Taylor.
Patrick Mahomes.
Chad Johnson with the Ocho Cinco.
We have a Drew Brees.
Is that an O.J. Simpson jersey?
It's an Aaron Rodgers.
Oh my goodness.
Tom Brady! Tom Brady!
Oh.
Yikes.
Yeah, that one hurts. Stephen McMichaels with a torn bicep, definitely out. Colin Pierce with just a bruised elbow has a chance to come back in, but with how this one's looking, probably not advised. And, with that halftime show, break into the world of sports memorabilia, collecting with Breaks GPT, featuring signed football jerseys, helmets, photos, and more. Breaks GPT offers you the shot at winning autographed and authenticated sports memorabilia at a fraction of the price. Join the community of collectors on our Breaks GPT Facebook page and lock in your shot at hitting a humongous headliner on our site. Check them out at breaksgpt.com as we see a big return. Way to start the half, Minnesota. Really solid return there from Quag Man.
You know, what we saw in the first half for the Minnesota offense is, Reno just, being a maestro out there with the exception of that one interception. He's slinging it to whoever he wants to and hitting them right in the numbers, spreading it to pretty much with the exception of France. I mean, who got one target. He's been spreading it to all of his receivers. And we got Hart air at 51 yards. So, they're playing a near flawless game plan here in the first half.
Yeah, just very technically sound as Minnesota right now. Let's see if it'll continue. If it'll continue, as Rena's going to hand it off up the middle. Colin Hart is going to get stuck behind his offensive lineman and get tackled after just a gain of 3.
I mean, if he would have maybe juked to the right, he might have had more yards. I don't know why he wanted to stick his head in the back of his blocker.
Yeah, I'm not sure. And we're going to see this look again with 4-man. Reno's going to drop back, has plenty of time, going to fire over the middle. It's a fumble.
Huge. There you go.
Recovered by Oklahoma City. And Charles, that one was close to me. I'm not sure if he made a football move there or not, but regardless, the Zebras down on the field made the call, and that's what's going to stand for now. A huge play to start the half by Josh Vasquez.
Yeah, they'll probably challenge it. I think he made a step, though, but on that play right there, they capitalized it like what we said going into the half, and they also showed a little creativity on the line again with that pinch stunt.
They did. A really good start to the half, even if it doesn't hold. You know what I mean? That's still going to be a broke-up catch for an incompletion. But if it is a fumble, that's huge for Oklahoma City, and we can see it there. I'm not sure about. You think so?
Yeah, I don't know, but I'm wrong on all this stuff, so don't listen to him.
I think it's going to get overturned here. I think it'll be incomplete.
All right, but hey.
It was close. It really was, and not to be a Debbie Downer for Oklahoma City, because I'm certainly not. I'm Oklahoma boy myself.
Yeah, way to be a Debbie Downer, man.
Yeah, right. I know. Horrible me. But nonetheless, Oklahoma City got to try and make another big play as Minnesota is going to come back onto the field. Johnny Reno going to be under center with a man in the backfield. He's going to roll to the right, has plenty of time.
There you go.
One. Oh, my goodness, Charles. Aaron Gooden snags that one out of the air.
I mean, that's what you call a fired-up defense coming out of the locker room. Aaron Gooden with his first interception of the season. Just some athleticism there, had to dive for the ball, and did what we hadn't seen the entire first half, make the catch.
Yeah, yeah, that's certainly right. And, this defense right now for Oklahoma City, they have 2 interceptions, and that is half as much as the offense has catches right now, thrown to them by Hamden. That's just an interesting stat for you. Now Hamden under center again. He's going to roll out to his left. Udon goes to the flat, and it's thrown and almost intercepted by a legend. It's going to get tipped down for an incompletion.
I think what we would have seen if it was Pierce back there, he would have dropped it off to the running back that was wide open there in the flats and could have got at least 8 out of it.
Yeah, Frank Udon was open by a mile there, Charles. I do agree with you, and you can see the stats there, 250 to 76. My goodness. Now here we go. Hamden going to have another chance at it under center with 1 man in the backfield. Got a loaded right side of the line with a 4-man front. He's going to take a 1-step drop, and he's going to throw it over the middle. Just not able to be hauled in. That's just unfortunate.
That was a pass to a tackle.
Was it really?
Tackle, you're really putting a lot of faith in the universe.
I mean, yeah, talk about crazy switch-up play there. I mean, that is certainly one.
I could be wrong, but it looked like he was throwing to 65, the tackle.
It wouldn't surprise me, but now we're going to see Jonathan Kilgore motion from that bunch package to make his way to the left side of the field. Hamden's going to roll out to the right after a great block, but it doesn't matter. Brought down for a sack by Angela Meerkat, who puts another stamp on this game.
I think, their second sack of the game?
It is, yes.
Totally killing it out there.
Oh gosh, go ahead.
I mean, you can give Hamden, so hey, he's a brave guy standing there when Meerkat falls in front, but you got to have some urgency to get rid of the ball or, haul what to the sideline.
Yeah, no joke. And I mean, it was a really solid block from the, rolling out tailback there, but I mean, if you're a halfback, you're not going to be able to block Angela Meerkat. So he chipped away at the legs there of Meerkat, and she was able to just
get up that fast.
Yeah, yeah. She fought it off, got herself back up, and made the big play. And now, with that big play, we're going to see Big Money Reno back onto the field for Minnesota. Going to have 2 to his right, 1 to his left, and a man in the backfield. He is going to hand it off to start the half, and just nowhere to go as he gets bottled up right at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, that was a nice play. And Jay Saylor, another good play by Jay Saylor, the defensive tackle.
Yeah, I mean, for what it's worth, Oklahoma City's defense is looking really solid right now, despite the scoreboard. A lot of props to them. See if they can keep it up. Oklahoma City, again, gonna stop that run for a loss that time. Colin Hart gets drugged down, and that's Jad McPherson leading the charge.
Yeah, the rookie Jad McPherson out there is pumped up like the rest of. I mean, when you got somebody like Kanan making those plays, I'm sure Kanan stood up at halftime and broke something and got them fired up to go out there and play them.
Yeah, absolutely. And Jad McPherson had a pretty big play in the first half, and continuing that play into the second here for Oklahoma City. And now for Minnesota, you have Jay Taylor motioning to that right side of the field. Johnny Reno surveying the defense. He's going to take a few steps, drop. He's going to have pressure, but he's going to find, all he's going to find is the hands of a renegade. And the theme of, our catchphrase, it seems tonight, Charles, is unable to hold on to it. There was the renegade.
Kanan called it right pre-snap. He adjusted the coverage downfield. He floated the zone over to that side of the field, and they were just waiting for him. That was another, you're not going to see that in the stats book, but that was a great call there, pre-snap by Kanan. Heads up.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one of the things you need from a guy like Sabo Kanan. He has 2 all-star appearances. It's tied for most on your defense along with Josh Vasquez, and he's been in the league for 6 seasons. He's one of the veterans on this squad, especially in the linebacking core, and he's showing that that brain smarts. On that play specifically with the great call.
See what kind of magic Hamden can do here, coming in here in relief duty.
Hopefully some. Hamden going to drop back, a lot of pressure. He's going to fire to the left side of the field and unable to haul it in. Is Bacigalupi with a lot of pressure, or a lot of coverage there. The corner seemed like he was on the back of Bacigalupi, and just great coverage.
Yeah, had him blanketed, and they gotta sound like a broken record, but you have to do something to help your quarterback.
Yeah. Yep, and let's see if they can change that narrative. Is Hamden again going to be under center? He's going to roll to his left. Has Udon going left. Going to fire over the middle. Looking for Bacigalupi once again into a sea of legend, and it is unable to be held on.
Yeah, this is it's kind of eye-opening to me. You can't fault you can't fault Hamden. He's putting the ball where it needs to be. Let's just say that.
The throws are solid, to say the least. And I'll talk about some adjustments on defense. We see one there. The linebacker going to go out and match that bunch look, putting the safety a little bit farther back. We're going to see the drop back and fire over the middle. And it looks like that call was for the worst, leaving that zone open in the middle of the field for Jonathan Kilgore to take full advantage of.
Yeah, the 6'6", 265-pound rookie went in the middle against a linebacker and a safety, and just fought for it and brought it in.
Yeah, Kilgore, he's been putting in work, Charles. I'll tell you that. I've had the pleasure of calling a lot of his games, and he's playing in the minor leagues a little bit right now, and he's really been balling and bringing that into Oklahoma City now. And here we go. Number 45 going to motion to the left side of the line, going to go out to the receiver spot. Hamden's going to be under center. He's going to hand it off to Frank Udon, who's going to carry it up the middle of the field, break a tackle, and for such a tough run, only a gain of 2.
Well, 2 things though. I don't hate that play, because it mixes things up. They were getting into a pass only look there, and the other thing is, Hamden is he's looking pretty dang cool out there for a guy coming off the bench going up against Minnesota.
Yeah, he is. And if you're Hamden now looking at this defensive front for the Legend, you've got to be scared. You do have a lot of linemen down, though. Hamden's going to drop back, fire to the right side, and just a little in front of Bacigalupi there. Just that was one of the few off-target throws we've seen from Hamden tonight.
It's hard to see that when we're not going to get a replay, but the well-covered downfield,
Yeah.
that might be one of the bad decisions that Hander made tonight.
For sure, Charles. Here we go. Oh, goodness. Read it like a book was Mark Mello. Didn't even give him time to finish his rollout. Untouched was Mark Mello until he grabbed Hampton and slammed him into the turf.
Yeah, that hurt. I mean, hopefully he gets up, or we're going to be looking at the third QB3 coming out.
Yeah, that would, I don't know. That would just be something for Oklahoma City. Talk about kicking them while they're down. Another sack to force the punt from Oklahoma City, and again, just not able to capitalize against such a talented defense.
Yeah, and if I were Minnesota, I would just start powering over these guys because you're going to get them tired because the defense for OKC is just leaving it out all in the field, and they're not going to be able to have the endurance, I think, to take it into the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I think you're right, Charles, and we kind of saw that a little bit at the end of that last drive with how heavily they were blitzing. Now we have Reno jumping back and talk about blitzing. Here comes Oklahoma City, 92.
As soon as I say something, Jermaine Haley, the defensive tackle, just shot through the gap there and just didn't give anything for Reno to do other than hit the dirt.
Yeah, and we've said his name quite a few times tonight, Charles, and there he comes with another big play.
How that happens, DJ.
It is.
Oh my gosh,
it's an art, really. We should look into that. He's going to drop back, firing to the right side of the field. Great coverage, but it doesn't matter. Deezer Powell going to hold on to it.
Yeah, Deezer Powell, I think he's only been targeted a couple times tonight, but that right there, I think, was his best catch of the night.
Absolutely.
The coverage was, I think, was pretty solid by Rahman.
Yeah, Rahman was all over him there, was spearing him right as the ball got to Deezer Powell, but just, really didn't matter. Powell with a great catch, and now we have Reno under center again in this bunch look. He's going to hand it off right up the middle, going to fight off a block and fight for a gain of 9 3/4 or so as Colin Hart going to get up, shake that one off, and say, give me some more, Reno.
Let's see if OKC can build up another type of stand that we've seen a couple series tonight. Let's see if they can dig deep and stall the legend in their tracks.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. They're playing with a lot of heart. Here comes Johnny Reno, one in the back. Now we're going to see Deezer Powell head to the other side of the field on a motion, making it 3 to that left side. As Reno's going to survey the defense. Going to hike it and hand it off right up the middle to Robert Henson Jr., who fights for the first down. And in those, inches scenarios, he's going to be a really tough guy to stop.
I mean, they've been showing, the flashy passes downfield, but I really think that they have a huge advantage in the run game. And if they just stuck with that, it would be kind of lights out for tonight.
Absolutely. And they don't listen and fire it back to Deezer Powell. He gets another one right as you say it, Charles. We're definitely going to have that looked at. If not you, I'll fly someone out there to do it.
Crazy.
But if Deezer Powell just breaks away, that's just textbook. They're going to break off the press and it looked like a ton of green grass in front of them. Thankfully there for Oklahoma City, the safety was able to force him out.
I don't know what to say now. Honestly,
Oklahoma City's probably hoping nothing, but the legend probably wants you to say, they're about to throw an interception, and then that'll mean they'll score. And speaking of, Reno going to fire over the middle. Too. Yeah, well, apparently it's just the commentator's curse. I think we all have a little bit of it in our soul, really.
They're passing at will too.
Yeah, they are.
The coverage there are tons of gaps in that coverage.
Yeah. And you talked about how dominant they are in the run game, and they're just as dominant when it comes to the pass game. It's really just a coin flip of whether they want to run or pass, and either way, it seems to be working pretty well. Now here comes Reno again under center. They're going to motion out the tight end to the other side of the field, Jason France, 6'7", 270. He's a big monster on that one. Reno going to survey the defense, sees the twitch on the line, going to hand it off to Hart right up the middle, and is just going to meet a wall again. That is Sabo Cannon with another solid play.
I'm surprised he only has 6 tackles tonight. I think he'd have like 30.
It definitely feels like we've said his name more. Here we go. Reno again under center with a heavy look. Here comes the stunt from Oklahoma City. They're going to bring men.
Oh, look at that.
And a big play. That was,
Sailor.
yeah, Sailor again. Another solid play, jumping up, batting that one away, doing his best Angela Meerkat impression on that one. And making it third down now for the Legend. Here we go. Last chance. Saw another stand like this earlier, and, Oklahoma City prevailed. Here comes Reno calling the motion. Colin Hart moving to his right side of the field. He's surveying the defense from under center. He's going to take the snap and drop back. Get over the middle for the touchdown. Jason France with the catch.
Second target, I think, of the night, and the second one counts for a score.
It does, and it was going to be hard to stop them. They had 3 plays to do it within the 10-yard line twice. If they were able to stop them again inside the 10 with the 1st and goal, I would have been really impressed, but unable to there. And here we go. Here, Perot's back out. Mickey Malillo getting his work today as he's going to boot another one through the uprights. And a 9-play, 82-yard drive. Very solid there from Minnesota.
Yeah, I mean, all phases of the game for them tonight are just clicking. Having one of those nights from a good side, and OKC's having it on the bad side.
That's true. And now, Charles, I do have a question for you. You know how many likes we have?
How many what?
How many likes we have tonight? Oh my goodness! Forget that! Wow, that is so crushing. My goodness. Minnesota said forget the amount of likes we have, and to answer your question, it was not enough. Hit that like button if you're watching right now. They completely cut that in half. Minnesota just didn't have a care in the world, stomping on the corpse of Oklahoma City. My goodness, taking the charge back. Now Reno under center again, inside the 30-yard line. He's going to drop back with pressure in his face, and he's going to fire it to the left-hand side. And who else but number 80, Jay Taylor? He has dominated that left side of the field tonight, Charles.
I mean, he just went go down. It's like, hey, go down to the tree, and I'll throw the ball to you. At 3 Mississippi.
Yeah,
that's basically all they did. They tried They tried to do something creative on the line, got a little pressure, but man, Reno was having none of that.
Yeah, it's none at all, and he's just throwing lights out. And here we go, back to the run. Colin Hart gonna fight his way through and bring it inside the 5. A great run there from Mr. Hart.
Yeah, I mean, that's my point. They're running. We haven't seen a running. I don't think we've seen a running touchdown by Minnesota tonight.
I think you're right.
They're setting themselves up for one.
I mean, and how hard is it to stop those runs when you have Robert Henson Jr. leading the charge, who blocked 2 men in 1 block on that play? Now here comes Reno. Talk about that rushing touchdown. He's so close.
Wow.
But it takes 2 Renegades to hold him back by the skin of their teeth. It says, not yet. You're not going to score on the 1st and goal. They're going to make it 2nd and goal.
They brought in Richie, the fullback too. Henson needed to get a breather.
Oh my goodness! And another great play, Brady Clark. I mean, that was a great draw play. It had me fooled, but Brady Clark wasn't fooled at all. He shot that gap and made a great tackle.
Yeah, free safety made an adjustment, pre-snap, got close to the line and just shot through there and got him down.
I read it like a book, and here comes Reno under center. This very familiar 3rd and goal. He's going to sneak it. He gets caught behind the guard, and nothing he can do except get brought down by the defensive lineman, Delbert Cowsett.
They've used every defensive tackle on their roster tonight. They put them on the field, and I think all of them have made some type of play.
They really have, and I mean, we talked about it at the end of that last drive that if they would be able to hold, goodness gracious, if they were able to hold Minnesota, to 4th and goal again inside the 5, I'd be impressed, and they just did it. So
yeah, I mean, they've had a couple good stands. They've shown some flashes. It's just hard to keep that up against the likes of a team that's loaded like Minnesota.
Yeah, now that we have some time and hopefully not a fumble to cut it off. Tonight you're watching the Simulation Football League action here on the Virtual Football Network. This week it's SFL tonight through Sunday. UFL is going to be back with us on Monday and Tuesday. SFL action returns Thursday. And SFL Week 9 kicks off next Friday with Mike and Gerald at 7:45 p.m. Eastern, right here on an exciting week of VFN. Now here we go. Here comes Hamden again. I mean, clear to say now, Colin Pierce is probably not going to be back in this one. He's going to hand it off to Udon. He's going to fight for some yardage. And another really tough run by Udon and just not able to find much room.
Yeah, I mean, it's... at least he's churning those legs. He's not going to give up and get those extra 3. I mean, that's impressive.
Yeah, I mean, he's not giving up, to say the least. He is going to fight for every amount of yardage he has. And we're going to see another run here right up the middle. And he is just going to meet a wall. Matthew Alvarado with the huge hit on Jacob Brewer.
And it's been a long quarter for KC.
Long quarter, long game, long day, I'm sure. And that is going to be the end of the third quarter. 1 quarter of football to go. And let's see if Oklahoma City has a little bit of life in them going into this fourth quarter. Yeah, get your 4s up, your 29s. All of those special numbers, throw them in the chat, your 12s, everything you got, throw them up now. Here comes Hamden under center. Back in this bunch look we've seen so much. He's going to drop back with pressure, and he's going to fire it at Tiberius Bovine on that little corner route to the sideline. It's just not going to hit the mark.
A little more elevation on that. I think we could have been looking at a different story,
or at least an attempt at a catch. And might have dropped it again, but but yeah, that was definitely on him that time. No fault to Tiberius Bovine on that one for sure.
Brady Clark for Oklahoma City quietly has. I did not know that he had 9 tackles. I would have thought, like I said earlier, Kanan had 9. But man, that free safety, he's been shutting some stuff down. I mean, those open field tackles, pretty impressive.
Yeah, he is. And now here comes Reno under center. Has 2 to his left. He's going to take a few steps back, and he's going to fire him to the right side of the field. And he is going to connect with Deezer Powell again. And now Charles, I'm hearing from the side, Cameron from SFLM headquarters, that was Colin Pierce who made that last throw for Oklahoma City. He is back in the game.
Oh, nice.
I mean, maybe a little bit too late, but nonetheless, we're going to see some more Colin Pierce action tonight if Oklahoma City tends to get the ball back. And there's Johnny Reno's stat line there, 283 yards to 3 touchdowns to his name. There we go, a little bit of an I-form look here for Johnny Reno. Going to hand it off to the right side. Colin Hart going to fight for some yardage, but gets dragged down for only a 2-yard gain.
Let's see if we can get the ball back to, we've got plenty of time to get the ball back in Colin Pierce's hands now that he's back in.
Yep. Is this going to need another big play for Oklahoma City? At this point, it's pretty much all she wrote, but we know these Renegades are not going to go down without a fight, and you can see it there. Another really nice tackle right at the sticks, right at the line of scrimmage.
I mean, they're still trying to gang tackle out there as much as possible, and Kanane has just been all over the place.
Yeah, getting every helmet to the ball, as they say. Now here comes that bunch look again. Reno, he's going to roll out to his left with a back blocking for him, and he's going to fire it find no one but the hands of a Renegade. Unable to hold on is Josh Vasquez.
Yeah, Vasquez with a nice pass deflection as well. Let's get the ball back, and let's see what Colin Pierce can do with 8 minutes left.
Now Colin Pierce is going to charge onto the field. He came out of the tent with a defibrillator in tow, got the inhalers. He's like, "Come on, guys, I'm back. Let's get some points up on the board." Nice. And let's see if they can do it.
What was his injury again? I don't recall.
Bruised elbow.
Was it the throwing elbow?
Probably, with how much he was out, I'd assume. And didn't get it as bad as Stephen McMichaels, who tore his bicep on his injury. That's rough. And here he is, number 6 for the Renegades, Colin Pierce, and he's going to be under center. And now here's already some trickery. Going to motion to the from right to left. Number 45, Colin Pierce going to survey the defense, going to take a few steps back. He's going to roll back a little farther. And
there you go.
In the middle to Christian Bacciagalupi. He's going to bring it to the 45, and there we go, Charles.
Welcome back, 6th-season veteran. That's what we need. Stood in the pocket there, extended the play with a couple steps back, making it a deeper drop, and was unable to see Bacciagalupi.
Looked really, really good on that first play, and Bacciagalupi hauled it in just fine. So maybe it was some quarterback error. Maybe them spirals weren't just right. Maybe something, but Colin Pierce bringing a little bit of life. Going to hand that one off, and a lot of room to run now for Frank Udon. Get a gain of 6, and a really solid run. Most of his runs haven't gone for much, but that one going to get 6.
Yeah, that's what you need.
That's some new
6
life
yards
in the
on first down.
Yeah, I mean, if you do that all game, things are going to look good. And Colin Pierce now under center again, going to have a really heavy offensive line. He's going to hand it off to the left-hand side, and Jacob Brewer is just going to meet a wall. That is Matthew Alvarado.
Matthew Alvarado. I mean, he was waiting for him. That's his 5th tackle tonight. It was like he knew the ball was going his way, and he just stood his ground and shut it down.
Yeah, and Alvarado's just been having such a good season. Playing at an all-star level for sure, if not one of the best linebackers in the league right now. And Pierce going to roll out to his left, fire over the middle of the field, and unfortunately for Matthew Alvarado, speak of the devil, unable to hold on to that one.
Yeah, Alvarado, he read that one as well. Pre-snap, had a feeling where the ball was going to go and got right in the passing lane.
Yeah, read the eyes of the QB very well. Definitely did his film study this week, as did the entire Legend roster, clearly. Now here we are again with another familiar Oklahoma City punt. Let's see if this one as good as the last. Not quite. Gonna fire it down to the 15, but no, scratch that. Gonna return it for a gain of 7. He is E.J. Minson, despite the heavy coverage.
Yeah, not bad. I'm always amazed at punt returners. I mean,
yeah,
Minson's standing there, and he's got a special teams player bearing right in on him. You have to concentrate and bring that ball in, and then you got to run after.
Yeah, I mean, if it was me, I wouldn't even catch it. There's no way. And here we go again. Reno under center. 2 men on each side. He's going to drop back, takes a few more steps. He's going to fire over the middle, and there is E.J. Minson after the solid punt return with a really nice catch.
Well, Taylor's already over 100, and Minson's knocking at the door with like 89.
Golly, I mean, they're just spreading the love here in Minnesota really, really well. And you had talked about it earlier. Jason France has that touchdown. E.J. Minson has had plenty of looks. Deezer Powell's had looked phenomenal all night. Jay Taylor dominating that left side of the field. Let's see if they can continue it. Johnny Reno under center with a strong left look. He's going to hand it off to that left side of the field, and Colin Hart going to fight his way for a gain of 4.
Yeah, and Reno's over 300, barely by a yard or two. Pretty darn good game. 10 yards a pass and 60 completion percentage and 60%, and 100 QBR. So he's having one of the better games of his season.
Yeah, just really, really solid. This is definitely that same Reno we saw of all season 23. And now we've got E.J. Minson motioning to the right side of the field. Johnny Reno's going to take a few steps back. He's going to fire into one-on-one coverage, and E.J. Minson's going to haul it in without a problem.
I mean, that's just a battle. It looked like that was Vasquez going up against Minson. And, he's got 196 for Vasquez against 235.
Yeah, it's going to be tough to hold that in. It was certainly a battle, like you said. I mean, if that was picked off, I wouldn't have been surprised. It looked like they both had a really solid chance to catch it. Now Reno again is going to be under center with 1 man in the back, 2 to his left. He's going to drop back, take a few steps. He's going to fire it over the middle, and incomplete. That one was to Jason France, unable to connect.
I think that was Brady Clark on the coverage, just had him blanketed.
Yeah, another really good play for him. You said it was quietly 9 tackles? Is that how many you said he had?
Brady Clark has 10.
Golly. Yeah, I mean, that was a great way to put it. Silently having such a good game. And Reno going to drop back, fire one over the right, and again, looking like Air Jordan out there. Josh Vasquez gets up and bats that one away.
I don't know how they do that. They're running with their back to the quarterback, with their head turned towards the line of scrimmage, and they're just able to make that adjustment and jump up in the air. That's a ton of athleticism.
It's just so much talent, really. And here we go, Reno again under center. Looks like he's going to call for the motion. And here comes Jay Taylor, a familiar sight, going to motion to that left side of the field. Going to have 3 to that side now with 1 back in the backfield. 3-man front for OKC. He's going to take a few steps back, and he's going to fire it over the middle to meet the hands of Jay Taylor. And no.
Okay.
Looks like he's going to be out. Oh, no. Another one.
127 yards for Jay Taylor tonight. He's had a heck of a game. But, man, that's unfortunate for him to get injured at this point.
Yeah, and he put his work in before he went out. But, again, unfortunate to see anyone go out, as Jay Taylor probably going to spend the rest of his game day in the tent. As you can see the splits right there, 263 of those yards in the middle of the field. My goodness. Reno again under center, has 2 to his right, 1 to his left, 1 in the backfield. Going to take a few steps back and fires it over the middle. And I thought that was going to be a touchdown, but just overleads Jason France.
You got to give credit to Yonita, the defensive end, put pressure there on the outside.
Oh, yeah.
Lined up wide in a 2-point stance, and I think he messed up the flow of that pass.
Oh, yeah. Kind of looked like he was just slipping in between blockers there. Didn't really get touched, it seemed. Now Reno again going to call for a motion left to the right. There's E.J. Minson heading to that right side. Got a heavy right side of the line for Johnny Reno as he surveys the defense. Going to take a 3-step drop, but he rolls to the right with pressure. He breaks the sack and fires left side. But to find nothing. Brady Clark again, stat padding on his great game, going to bat that one away.
Yeah, that's I think it's the second of the night and pass deflection of the night. But you get started with that rush up front. Johnny Reno had his head on a swivel trying to figure out what to do. Thought he was going to get brought down, but able to stand in there and throw it, but under a lot of duress, and Brady Clark just shut it down.
Yeah, he got hit pretty hard from that defensive front, but he just shrugged it off like it was nothing, and they're just putting full pedal to the metal, having 5 receivers, and speaking of those 5 receivers, going to motion one to the left-hand side. That's number 84, moving from right to left. Johnny Reno going to take a 4-step drop. He's going to fire it over the middle of the field and find Jason France completely uncontested for his second.
Well, Jason France had a pretty quiet first half, but man, second half, 3 catches and 2 touchdowns. I mean, leading touchdown receiver of the game.
Yeah, I mean, it's just another nod at how well they've shared the rock. I mean, despite Jason France, I mean, he hasn't had, too many catches. Most of his catches are, turn into touchdowns. But, we had Jay Taylor, who was in the game, who's had plenty of catches. Deezer Powell has got his fair share. E.J. Minson. I mean, Queg Mam was, fired too on that one that was broken up by Brady Clark there at the end. I mean, just sharing the love.
Definitely spreading it around.
Yeah. And this is week 8. It's going to continue tomorrow, headlined by the 5-2 Carolina Skyhawks. They're going to be visiting the hardest place by far to play in the SFL, the home city, Albuquerque Adams, sitting at 5-2, and that's going to be at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. Other action is going to include Pittsburgh and Indianapolis, Vancouver and Arizona, and Washington and Charleston, right here on the Virtual Football Network. And if you're liking my voice tonight, tune into those games because I'll be on 2 of them.
Oh, nice. You're doing great tonight. Play-by-play, first time, right?
Yeah, it is. Thank you, Charles. I appreciate it.
Sir.
And the pleasure's all mine. You're, great to have right by my side. And let's see what Colin Pierce can do in these closing moments. He's going to draw back, fire over the middle.
Right there. Holy
Yeah,
smokes.
and there we go. Threading the needle. I believe that was to Christian Bacigalupi, if I'm not mistaken. And now they're hurrying it up. Colin Pierce going to drop back again, fire over the middle, and that one incomplete to Tiberius Bovine.
Honestly, I think they needed an incomplete to kind of settle in and get a couple more options in there for play calling.
Yeah, I mean, probably better to, kind of take another look at the defense and kind of settle into a formation you're solid with. And the bunch certainly is one. There goes Colin Pierce dropping back, and
Look at that pass.
there we go. Jonathan Kilgore to that right side. And Charles, you said so many times that if it was Colin Pierce out there, he'd hit the flats, and you were exactly right.
That was a well-aimed pass right there.
Yep.
It wasn't perfect situation, wasn't a perfect route, but he put it right where, where Kilgore could bring it in.
He absolutely did. And here comes that bunch, same bunch look, just flipped to the other side with one back in the backfield. But this time, something we haven't seen too much of. Pierce going to motion Udon out to the far left side, making it 4 to that side. Going to survey the defense here. He's going to take a 4-step drop and fire it to the left side. And he's going to find the hands of Jubilee Marsh, and it's going to fall incomplete.
And, right into the mosh pit. I mean, bad things happen.
Yeah, right into the marsh pit, eh? Finding Jubilee Marsh right in the hands, and he just bats it down, and they kind of have to go for it now. The Renegades here, led by Colin Pierce, back on the field in this very familiar bunch look. Let's see what they can do. Going to survey the defense, take a 4-step drop, and he fires it to the left side. Unable to haul it in is number 86.
Taylor Jacobs had that in his mitts. That's been another. I mean, that right there is the showcase, I think. And I hate to say it. A couple drop passes. If would have been on the other end of it, I think we might have seen a couple points on the board.
Definitely agree with you, Charles. And now, Johnny Reno, big money Reno, going to march back onto the field. Just got to burn 4 minutes, 30 seconds off the clock. They say, nah, we're going to come out in a 5 wide, and pretty much 5 wide. And with that tight end being on the line, Johnny Reno going to drop back and find number 83 over the middle of the field. That's E.J. Minson once again getting his work in.
It showed a little twist action there on the line. That didn't fool the offensive line for the Legend.
Yeah, it didn't one bit. And here we go, forward wide receivers again. We're going to see a little bit of motion. Both teams really motioning a lot tonight. That's 89 for the Legend. Going to be Chad Lewis, one of the non-contracted tight ends, moving to that right side of the field. And Johnny Reno surveying that defense, looking at what he's got, letting the clock run down as he's going to sneak it. Another sneak, and going to gain the first down.
I mean, that's the second time they've run it, and were just as successful as the first time.
Yeah, I mean, they did the same exact thing the first time, Charles, but it still surprised me with how pass-heavy they've been.
Hard to defend against it, honestly.
It is.
You have all your, you got 5 wide.
Yeah.
Even 4 wide for that matter.
And especially with how pass-heavy they've been, I mean, you have to watch for that pass. I mean, it's out of the question not to, and we see that same look again, 4 wide here for Reno with that same tight end on the line. Reno going to survey his defense, let the clock run down, and he's going to take a few steps back. That's plenty of time, taking a few more, and he's going to fire it. Yeah, hit him right square.
No, I feel the face mask, actually.
Yeah, hit him right in the head. Target practice for Johnny Reno there, hitting the face mask of Aaron Gooden.
Yeah, there was nothing between him and the end zone.
Not at all. He would have been gone to the races unless Mr. Reno was able to catch up to him. And here comes this very familiar set here for Minnesota. They're going to motion over Deezer Powell to that left side, and Reno is going to take a look at the defense as the clock churns down. He's going to take a few steps back and fire it over the middle. No luck, though. A great defensive play there by Thomas and Rahman to break that one up.
Yeah, it's 3rd and 10. Let's see how aggressive Minnesota tries to go here. Do they try and get the first down, or they just run it and eat up some time?
It looks like they might be in a running look now. They're going to motion over a receiver across the field. That's going to be E.J. Minson heading to the right side, making it 2 to that side with a heavy left side of the line. With 1 back in the backfield, Reno going to drop back, said forget the run. He's going to fire it over the middle of the field to find Jason France. And a solo tackle by Josh Vasquez saves a touchdown for the meantime for the Renegades.
Jason France is going up against a guy that's almost 80 pounds heavier than him, and he's trying to muscle in, and that's a hard gig to execute on.
It is, absolutely, and thankfully for the Renegades, he was able to haul him down. But you know, I mean, the Legends are really knocking on, you know, the end zone right now, and Reno's going to be under center again. 3 catches there for 57 yards for France. My goodness. And Reno again going to be in this 4-wide look. The survey the defense as the clock churns down about at the 2-minute warning. He's going to draw back to pass again. So much time. And he's going to find Deezer Powell in the back of the end zone, making the lead up to 44.
Deezer Powell's tied with France for 2 touchdowns tonight.
Yeah.
400-plus yards for Reno.
Golly,
5 touchdowns, 2 interceptions.
Yeah, just such a solid performance for him. He's really putting on a show. Money Reno, it's 410. Golly. And Mickey going to march back onto the field. Warmed up that leg plenty, and up it goes through the uprights to tack on the extra point.
Not a lot of things to say at this point, honestly. I mean, it was just Oklahoma City walked into a buzzsaw in Minnesota. They're stacked on both sides of the line, and we all know what OKC's dealing with from a roster standpoint, and it's a hard mountain to climb up, my friend.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the team mascot suggests. You know, it's like going out to the middle of the woods to hunt a Sasquatch with a fork. It ain't gonna work out. And right now, it's not working out. And, you know, the early loss of Colin Pierce definitely has to play a part. And not to mention Stephen McMichael's going down as well. It's just really been a rough turn of events now for Oklahoma City. But, you know, we've said it before, they're not going to go down without a fight. And we're going to see it here as Colin Pierce goes under center. One man in his backfield, back to a bunch look to the right side. He's going to take a few steps back, and he's going to fire it to the right-hand side, trying to match up with Tiberius Bovine. But all he finds is the hands of a David Leathers.
Yeah, and David Leathers was also, making a campsite on his back.
Yeah, I mean, there was just a sea of white and green over there. You know, just ill-advised. But what can you do at this point, right? And he's gonna. Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
gonna fire it to the right side of the play. A nice catch there by Galupi.
Yeah.
We're finally hitting the 2-minute warning in the final quarter of this one. This is the Simulation Football League, brought to you by the Virtual Football Network. I am DJ Kilgannon. Here with me is Charles Doherty. We got Mark Mello and the great Ron Haynes in the stats truck. And, of course, Cameron Irvine back at SFL HQ for this one. Colin Pierce rolling out to the left. Going to fire, finding Christian Galupi, and he's going to take it out of bounds. Just try and save their timeout for a little bit later. And there you go. That's solid play.
That's great. I mean, you see that wide receivers play completely different when you got Colin Pierce in there. It's like they're used to the timing. They've got it down on the, obviously on those timing routes, and it's hard bringing somebody off the bench to be able to execute in that type of situation.
Yeah, I mean, and there you see it. 5 receptions, 111 yards. Galupi's not having a bad game at all, but, I mean, you got to think what could have been if Pierce would have been in the whole time. Pierce going to drop back and find Bovine, who stays in bounds and gains a few more up that left side.
I'm not sure. He stayed in. Let's see.
Oh, they're reviewing it. Okay. Yeah, I thought the challenge play was coming.
Yeah,
but
I think he stopped and got a corn dog on the way.
Yeah, I think you're right. But, I mean, God, come on, refs. Let them play at this point, right?
We'll see. I'm always wrong, so probably stayed in.
Not
I don't
that
know
time.
about that one.
Yeah, not this time, Charles.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
Yeah, he stepped out, made a sandwich, called his mom.
Yeah, you can see the mustard stain on his jersey.
Yeah, from that corn dog. And he enjoyed the dog from the sidelines there, and that one's overturned, and just nailing another nail into the coffin of the Oklahoma City Renegade. Is they've only got a few more nails left, and they'll be out of this one. But the Renegade aren't gonna stay in that box easy. They're gonna try and get those nails
on the board.
out.
You don't want to walk away with a goose egg.
Yeah, you do not. That is no joke, Charles. And They're back to this bunch look that they are so fond of. Colin Pierce now leading the charge again. Under center, got one in the backfield. He's going to survey the defense, take a 5-step drop, and he's going to fire that left side. And again is going to connect with Christian Bacigalupi, who gets the first down.
That's nice. Let's go. Let's keep. They're playing deep on them. That's going to be that. Those types of routes are going to get a little harder to execute as they get closer to the goal line.
Yeah, and you know those are the same routes you talked about so much without Colin Pierce on the field, that we talked about that he would hit those, and Hamden just wasn't. And we're seeing it there. And Colin Pierce again going to go for the short route and not going to find the money as Bacigalupi just completely blanketed there. Just a little bit of an ill-advised throw.
That was an interesting play there. It looked like they had two people do, hitches on the same zone.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe some miscommunication there. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. And Colin Pierce again under center with a 4-man front from Minnesota. Stands in the pocket, and Bacigalupi's going to catch it and fight for a few extra yards, gaining 2 of them, making it 3rd and 8 for the Renegades.
I mean, I'm not trying to pile on, but I don't think I saw that play at all in the first half.
Nope. I don't believe we did, and if we did...
I saw the formation. We saw a lot of it, and you mentioned it, but...
And if we did, Hamden either got sacked or didn't look that way at all.
Yeah, maybe that's it. I don't know.
Now Pierce again under center, back to bunch. Surveying the defense, looking at this monstrous 4-man front from Minnesota. He's going to roll out to his right side, and he's going to fire. Oh, goodness. Oh, that was just such a... That was just a jumble. 3 or 4 different people looked like could have caught it.
Pull it in on the tip.
Yeah, I thought so too. He could have caught it. The defender could have caught it. So many different people could have caught it there, but none of them do. I mean, it's kind of been the theme, and here we go. Trying to go for some points. They are playing for pride now. 47 yards with a non-contracted kicker. It's going to be a miracle if they can get it between the uprights. Let's see if they can knock off that goose egg. It's up. And it's good. Wiping it off the board. And if you're not going to come out of it with a win, come out of it with your head held high. You scored at least some points, and that's better than some this season.
Yeah, definitely. Goose egg is not good to have in the books.
I prefer regular chicken eggs. Goose eggs, definitely.
I'm hungry for a corn dog now.
I'm hungry for anything, honestly. A corn dog does sound good. What do you prefer? You a ketchup guy, mustard? I heard you mention the mustard stain earlier. It's that kind of tells me something.
I like them both, but I like to switch it up every now and then.
You know, don't tell Brett Killian, but I am an avid mustard hater. Avid.
Oh wow.
Avid.
Okay.
Just I don't know, something about it. Just ketchup's, that little brother that always tries to hang out with you and your friends growing up, that you just had to shoo away all the time. That's what mustard is.
Okay. All right, that's a good way to look at it.
Here's Johnny Reno dropping back. So much time.
Nice coverage.
Yeah, great coverage.
I think that was Mr. Gooden.
Yeah, I think you're right. And really good coverage, and he could have cooked a corn dog and ate it with how much time he had in the pocket there. And we haven't seen much of that from Oklahoma City. They tend to bring a little bit more pressure than that. And despite the score, Reno is going to stay in this 4-wide look that they've used so much.
Look how deep the linebacker is.
Yeah, you can see it there. Probably going to go to something over the middle. Reno's going to drop back, firing it to the right. And there goes E.J. Minson again. And timeout's going to get called by the Renegades, I do believe. And going to leave them with 1 after the solid play.
4:27.
Yeah, and there it is, victory formation.
There you go.
And here's the chat says I should go to Chicago and ask for a hot dog and ask for ketchup. And funnily enough, I play for Chicago. And, they tend to give me all the hot dogs with ketchup I want. So
nice.
I'll keep my terrible opinion to myself from now on. Thank you. And Charles, I mean, you kind of called this one from the get-go, right? It was going to be tough if you're Oklahoma City, and tough it was, right? I mean, just a tough outing, especially with the injuries.
It's hard. I mean, Just looking at it's just a numbers game. I mean, looking at the count between on offense and defense going up against, full rosters for Minnesota Legend, and the fact that they're all highly rated at every position. I mean, it's tough, but we saw some flashes. We saw some great play by the likes of, Kanan, and on offense, we had some good catches at the end of the game by Bachkalupi, and Colin Pierce came in off the bench. I mean, there were some flashes. I mean, they've got something to build on, but you're going to need some. I think they're going to need some more players.
Yeah, for sure. And yes, talking about those flashes, we saw it at the very start of the game. From that defensive front, had a few couple solid drives where they were able to hold Minnesota. Had a few red zone stands, had a few turnovers even. I mean, they played pretty well despite, the massive score difference. I mean, they played all right.
Yeah, a couple stands, like you said, couple good pressures and, downfield defense, but just wasn't enough.
Yeah, not enough at all. And it was rough. We knew it would be coming into it. And Charles, I gotta ask. There's a few good options. And pretty solid game from
pretty clear
both sides. Yeah, who you
pretty
think
clear.
I gotta hear it.
31 yards and 5 touchdowns. It's kind of hard to, that's the elephant in the room.
Yeah, for sure.
Mr. Reno had a heck of a game.
Yeah, he absolutely did. And I'd love to be different, Charles. I would, but I gotta agree with you full-heartedly there. Johnny Reno completely took this game by the horns. And everybody, thank you so much for joining us on the Virtual Football Network. This was Minnesota versus Oklahoma City. For myself, DJ Kilgannon, Charles Doherty in the booth with me, Ron Haynes, Mark Mello in the stats truck, and from Cameron Irvine back at SFL HQ. Thank you all and have a good night.